It's a big year in gaming. Horror looks to be well received as always, some big reveals, and the games we know are mostly about to hit Nintendo Switch. Hi humans, my name is Maxi, your one-off game killer, and today this guy is presenting the anticipated horror games of 2020 and beyond for Nintendo Switch, for now.
For you to help you get settled in on your first night.
Developer Steel World Studios, bringing Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted to Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Oculus Quest in a couple months. In short, they said things are very fluid with the corona pandemic, but for the time being, everything's currently on schedule. If you're a bit confused now, yes, this one was originally conceived as a VR-only game, but since it was reviewed on PSVR, last year the developer came out with an update to make VR optional with this new flat mode. Guess you're in the woods here. This game is a collection of scenes, set pieces and stories inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's first, second, third and fourth and sister location, and now ended up being one of our favorite games. Just make sure to stick around. A precise release date for the game onto Nintendo Switch is coming out pretty soon. Earlier this month, we got a new trailer introducing The Persistence. Announced it's finally coming to PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Oculus, and Nintendo Switch. And we're as much as excited as you are for the Switch port, which is set to arrive starting this summer. The game itself, though, is like a roguelike version of Dead Space, and that's set in first person, in which you will have to navigate a ship full of space horrors using a variety of weapons and overcome its odds. Considering the one fact that the starship is heading towards a black hole, gameplay-wise, I gotta say, doesn't look bad. The melee looks visceral and the environment designs look haunting and eerie, which is definitely necessary for a sci-fi horror, but let me know what you think about this one. The game is coming out later in 2020. Developer Stormland Games released this first in a series of developer diaries for Remothered Broken Porcelain lately. By the way, it's the sequel to Clock Tower's inspired cult hit Remothered Tormented Fathers, in case you didn't know. There's not all that much footage here though, it's just once more promised improvements on the somewhat rough edges found in the original game, including better visuals, real-time cinematics, and refined mechanics for stealth, some more combat, and some more in-game environments, and how we're gonna use it to survive. Yeah. Anyway, Broken Porcelain will be coming to PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Xbox One later this year, sometime in mid-year. Just make sure to stick around. About a month ago on Instagram, Red Barrels, the developers of the game Outlast, suddenly posted this poster for Outlast's upcoming game, which is apparently now Outlast Trials, not Outlast 3. There's been a heck of a lot of rumors since before the reveal that this entry is going to be a VR, though developers actually came out and said that this is not going to be a VR and is not going to be. One thing we know for sure is that Outlast Trials is set during the Cold War, and the goggles we saw on the poster earlier probably has something to do with this new sort of psychological night vision thing. It just looks weird. I don't know, other than that, there's not much, so make sure to stick around. More information is on the way, probably coming out in a couple of months. I'm not saying you do, but if you do, get your kicks by exploring dark, haunting, suburban surroundings like me. Infliction Extended is maybe something you'd like. Available to purchase and download actually from the usual console digital stores, Infliction Extended Cut this time over here is the enhanced edition of the critically acclaimed, rather horrifying Infliction, which has been doing the rounds over on PC, is now coming to Nintendo Switch. The game itself couples a story-driven approach to horror with a dynamic atmosphere to produce and this unsettling and unpredictable first-person experience that deals in church subject matter. The extended cut now, though, also includes additional endings and a fresh new Game Plus mode with bonus story content, increased difficulty, more jump scares, more new puzzles, and other surprises as well. A precise release date for the game onto Nintendo Switch, though, is actually yet to be announced, so stick around.
You never know how lucky you are when you have a perfect life.
Those Who Remain arrives in May. The Nintendo Switch version is in development, but now that the game has revealed its launch date, they came out with a new trailer. Here, the game's a first-person adventure thriller and suits wired production styles of similar games such as Close to the Sun, The Town of Light, and it's set to delve deeper into the human psyche, they said. There's gonna be some impressive, surreal scenes that take place to enhance the psychological side of things here in this trailer, please do watch it. And Those Who Remain will be landing onto PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on May 15th, with a Nintendo Switch release set to follow sometime in the summer in the same year. In short, Anthology of Fear is a psychological horror with 3 unique stories, each with its own style of gameplay, and is coming to PC and Nintendo Switch. There is one thing I should mention which is extra creepy about this game, as instead of being a bystander to the terror, you actually become an active participant here. It's not unlike the Dark Pictures anthology from Supermassive Games, except in this case the stories are combined into one game rather than split into several, so how about that? According to the press release, the game will feature an ambiguous sense of reality, diverse gameplay, stylish graphics as you can see, and original soundtracks, and also focuses on game world problem solving. It's coming to PC in the first quarter of 2020, followed by a Switch release in the coming months. So Mastiff developers released this trailer for Home Sweet Home Episode 2, which actually came out to PC back in late 2019, so just right off the bat it's not a Switch footage, but I thought maybe it's a good idea to mention the game coming to Nintendo Switch just once again. Home Sweet Home's one of those games that might never see the light of Nintendo Switch actually. We've seen games like these with rumors hanging around them into different ports over and over, and I gotta admit it's probably a good idea to move on if you had any hope to get your hands on a Switch version of the game. Since there is actually nothing reliable out there regarding the Switch port, it's an amazing game, however, it's actually based on Thai culture and it's pretty difficult, features puzzles that require some skill, which all have something to do with the story. Now if you have a PC, go right ahead and get it on Steam for $9.49, but a Switch version of the game might be announced later in 2020, so make sure to stick around. So after dabbling in early access for a few months, Devspresso Games developers announced that Coma 2 Vicious Sisters will launch via Steam on January 28th, which it did, and then PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, which have yet to be announced. Coma is basically an atmospheric story-driven kind of game centered on a high school student, which after waking up one night in her school, she finds that her school has become twisted by something dark, and then pursued by someone that looks eerie like her teacher. And now in order to survive, Mina must get out of her school and do shit she never thought she would have to do this morning, right? In case you have a laptop or something, the game is in early access on Steam and you can get it for $14.99. The precise release for Nintendo Switch is coming later in 2020. If atmospheric horror games are right up your alley, and you're looking for something like Layers of Fear or Outlast, Silver Chains here may be the one you're looking for. This first-person horror actually came out to PC via Steam earlier and is now due out to hit PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in Q2 2020, probably sometime in July. Now this game you could say is highly reminiscent of that wave of titles a few years ago when the genre was all the rage and was popularized by various Let's Play on YouTube. But I'd like to say Silver Chains is a heavy mix of psychological and some good old monster horror in the same vein as Amnesia, the game. It also takes inspiration from games like Layers of Fear, the Resident Evil series, Dead by Daylight, Outlast, and even more, like Silent Hill even. Yeah, Silver Chains is a very atmospheric and uses some highly detailed graphics just to bring things to life as much as it's possible. Here's actually some more footage, in case. Last year, November 25th, developers Experience began crowdfunding for this new game titled Shibito Magire, I think, which was the third entry in their Spirit Hunter series. With an original goal of 15 million yen, they plan to follow through with development of the game no matter how much they received. And today, or you could say yesterday, we are excited to announce the game raised over 18 million with still a week to go. New costumes for the protagonist will be added to the game, as well as extra horror visuals, more voiced content. Further funds will even provide more songs, some system changes, and even DLCs. Shibito Magire, I think, is set to release in the summer of 2021 for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch in Japan, and please stay tuned for more news and infos on this one and its recent release. The game is called a role-playing suspense horror adventure, and the theme this time has changed from spirit suspense horror to this gloomy horror with suspense-based mystery. Really quick, Silent World over here is a horror adventure headed to Nintendo Switch and Steam on March 19th. You know, 2 days, pre-orders already began, so I don't know. Here you play as the lone survival of a nuclear war and are looking to escape this shit. Anyone who enjoys stages with, I don't know, dark background, dark music, puzzles, and adventures on top of them in Silent World, you can trust. Primary Games developers already released a port of its popular PC game Never Again on the Nintendo Switch earlier on January, and in case you're not familiar with the franchise, as you can see, it's a mix of first-person puzzle solving with a well-executed atmosphere of dread and horror kind of game. But most importantly, Switch owners can look forward to a quality port here that is actually worth looking into. One of the strangest aspects of this game is actually its story, in which players take control of a 13-year-old girl who finds herself home empty, and her mom, dad, and her younger brother are nowhere to be found, and you need to find them by coming through this mysteriously dark house and solving puzzles. I can say it's a pretty decent game. In fact, even though Never Again is a horror game, I got to admit, even if the most elements of the game were removed from this one, the story on itself would still be great. Never Again is available now for PC and Nintendo Switch, and you can get a digital copy of it now for $13.99. Unnerved over here is a first-person horror about this paranormal investigator couple and their latest adventure in this place called Betterwood Forest. It's alright, I guess. I don't really know. I haven't played this one myself, so I'm not sure if it's any good. So you might want to take a look at the trailer here and see if there's anything you like about it, and go for it. Just gotta admit though, it's got some atmosphere, audios and music sound alright too. It has puzzles, environmental storytelling, and some mystery to it. Yeah, the game's available now on the Nintendo eShop for $8.99. Heaven Dust over here released earlier onto Nintendo Switch in February. The game promises a thrilling and immersive exploration horror experience in what is positioned as a love letter to classic 90s survival horror games. It happens in 1970. Apparently a scientific investigation team discovered this new virus, and while some scientists believe that it will help to reveal the secret of immortality, it actually opens the gates to hell. Yeah, you play as this character who wakes up to find himself in a mansion, which is actually this maze full of zombies and deadly traps. Then you must overcome stuff and escape somehow. Heaven Dust is available now on the Nintendo eShop for Nintendo Switch, worldwide priced at $7.99. And Bloodbreed, lastly, is this brutal retro-style survival horror. It is challenging, it's got some mature visuals that can be toggled on and off just in case. And here, people fight for their lives, as you start off in this area where your car breaks down, which is actually full of weird kinds of human remains, and you're left to face a murderous maniac who is hunting you down. Bloodbreed is available via Nintendo eShop now for $4.99.